Alright, we good? Looks good.
It's recording?
Yeah, it's recording. Hey there, welcome back. Today we were found in the beautiful beaches of Southern California. More specifically though, we're in San Pedro. It's about 5 p.m. so good time for the sunlight, and we're out with the Beat, the beautiful Honda Beat. I wanted to do a little overview. I have been dailying this car for the past 2 weeks, and every day been taking it out, been using it, California streets. I've been taking it, up into the engine, see where it could go. But I wanted to tell you guys how it has been to daily this thing out in the city. I go to school still, so I've been taking this to the school. This has been my commute, and I wanted to just let you know about the things that I noticed about this car and some things that I like, and maybe a few that I want to say I don't like, but a little bit of a misconception. Let's just get straight into it, no cuts. So this is a Honda K car. If you guys don't know about it, it is a 660 centimeter engine, and it is a 3-cylinder. Now, what is special about this Honda that separates it from the other K cars is its M-Trek system. This system is a very fancy word for ITBs, or individual throttle bodies. M-Trek stands for multi-throttle response electronically controlled, or individual throttle bodies. So if we open up the engine, not the engine, just from taking off the filter, you can see the individual throttle bodies right there, little tiny ones, 1 per cylinder equals 3. That is one of the main advantages of the Honda Beat, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's talk about another really obvious thing, which is the size of the car itself. Now, just by looking at it, we can clearly tell that it is very, very small car. Now, people say Miatas are small over here, but this thing is very, very tiny compared to a Miata, even that or any other regular car here in the USDM market. If we can see over there, that little car right there, the Nissan. Even compared to a regular Nissan Sentra, this thing is tiny. Now, I am about 5'11", and I feel comfortable in this thing. The seats hug me pretty nicely. They feel kind of like a bucket type of feel. Zebra print, beautiful. And just overall, the driving feel and comfortability, for me, I say is pretty good. Now, if you were about 6'3", I think that's pushing it a little bit. I think you'll have to start some problems. 6'4", that's when you start to think about maybe not buying the car, just because with the roof up, you probably will be hitting your head at the top. But for me, 5'11", around there, I think you'll be fine. I feel comfortable, so nothing bad there. Now, this car has not given me any problems since I've started using it, and all I did was a simple oil change and a couple filter changes. So I changed the air filter, oil filter, and I as well changed the sparks, and obviously the oil itself. From that, I'd say it's pretty reliable. Again, it's a Honda. We all know Honda reliability. If you're driving it how you're supposed to drive it, obviously it's gonna last you long. But if you are going up to 7,000 RPM every single time, then you're gonna have problems. Obviously, you're gonna blow a gasket, you're gonna blow the band. Something's gonna happen. As for me though, it's been great. I've been driving it well, and by well I mean I've been pushing it to 5,000 sometimes, hitting up to 6 sometimes, but every once in a while, to have fun. But usually I'll shift at 4 or 3,500. Now, people say, does this thing do highway speeds? Yes, but you're pushing it. I'd say that on the highway, you could go on the first lane and you'll sit comfortably doing 50 miles an hour in 5th gear, and you'll probably be about 4,000 RPMs. Once you start getting into 65 miles per hour, I say that's when the engine starts to really stress and show its, I don't want to say weakness, but it shows that it is a small engine that is not meant for that. It's meant for little city streets back in Japan and little towns, but with a sport costume disguise. Because realistically, what this is just every single other K car Honda engine, like the Acti, but of course it has the M-Trek system and a couple other things, so it revs faster. The gear shifts are much shorter so that you can rev it out, and of course it is a lot lighter, and you're not going to be hauling stuff like with an active truck. And that gets me into my next point, which is storage. You really don't have a lot of it, but for someone like me that's just going around here and there, and I'm usually by myself, I don't need it. I just throw everything in the passenger seat. But you know, I know people like to carry stuff, and if you like to carry around a lot of stuff, I would say think of a different car, maybe something like an Alto or even a K-Van if you like that kind of thing. But as we know, on the Honda Beat, the engine's in the back. So as for the trunk, you only get a little bit of space. And when I mean a little, it's about a shoebox big. And at the front, you think there'd be a frunk, but you're wrong if you say that, because there's actually the spare tire at the front, along with a radiator and some couple of reservoirs for your car. So no storage at front, no storage at the back really. All you get is a passenger seat, and if you have a passenger there, I guess throw everything on their legs because it is not gonna fit. The next thing I want to talk about is the engine note on this car. The engine is practically what makes this car. We all know that Honda is really good at making high revving, high power engines with only a naturally aspirated engine, no turbocharger, no supercharger, just pure engine. Now, this car specifically, it isn't the most powerful, I'd say, because it was limited to 64, but you like to use all 60 horses, it is really fun to drive. It doesn't have a turbocharger unlike the Cappuccino, and it doesn't have a supercharger unlike something like a Vivio. But the Mtrix system just separates it in a way where you could hear every single rev that you have and hear the suction of the air. Especially some people put velocity stacks on this thing, or the little trumpets if you like to call them. It sounds even better. Pair that with a nice exhaust, sounds amazing, but stock by itself already sounds pretty crazy. I think that is one of the main things that people buy the Beat for, is just the engine note and the way it feels. We all know that Honda's gearboxes in the 90s and early 2000s were great. They all feel really nice, they feel good. And the driving experience, I'll describe the driving experience on this as comfortable and fun. You're not going to take yourself too seriously in this little car, and revving it all the way up to 6,000 on first and second and third sounds great, although you're not going past 50 miles an hour. So there's another plus side, you're not really breaking the law while doing this. And I personally think that the look of the Honda is great. Like, this type of look is pretty distinguished from the Cappuccino, which a lot of people say looks like a mini Miata, but as of looks, nothing really looks like this thing. So I'd say looks, I give it 8, 9 out of 10. Mine so far is pretty much stock. The only thing that's changed is the steering wheel and the rims, but other than that, everything on this car is stock, and it drives, I'd say, pretty great. I like how comfortable it is, the way the bucket seat type of zebra seats feel, and just overall a very fun little car that people like to call a toy. Another point that I want to get into, everyone is gonna look, everyone's gonna talk to you, and everyone is gonna stare. Now, whether what type of person you are, well, that's when you decide, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? If you like talking to people, well, that's a good thing. And if you don't like interactions with other people in public, well, then there's your answer. You're obviously not gonna like something like that. But everywhere you go, people are gonna turn around and they're gonna ask you what it is. At every stoplight, or mostly every stoplight, and every red light, I have gotten people roll down their windows trying to say something. Other people just trying to talk at a gas station. Smiles and smiles all the time. I guess people call it smiles by the gallon. But that's really what it is. It's just such a happy little car, and the way it looks isn't really like anything here, and just the bright yellow color makes it even better, in my opinion. I think it attracts more attention, and it's more like, hey, look at me, you know? So whether you like that or not, it could be a plus or a downside. Now, I want to get into one misconception that people have about K cars, and especially about the manual transmission ones. People say that because it is such a small car and such a small engine, that you get 60 miles per gallon, that you get 3 weeks worth of gasoline, and you fill it up with $10. Little pigeon right there. The little pigeon. Okay, so it really depends on how you drive it and where you drive it. If you do a lot of freeway speeds and you drive on the highway with this thing, your gas mileage is not gonna be as high as people say it is. I have filled this thing up with $20 on 93 here in California, so the prices are gonna be a little higher. But if you drive it pretty quickly and you keep the RPMs higher, this thing will drown down pretty quick. The gasoline will go down pretty quickly, and sometimes you could tell from one stop to another how much it has gone down. So I'm not saying that it's false, but it is just something to keep in mind depending on how you drive, what your commute looks like, and if it's highway or purely city street. The MPGs aren't that good per se. If you're going on the city only, you're not passing 50 miles an hour, and you keep it low RPMs in fifth gear, then yeah, you'll get pretty good MPGs. But I just see a lot of people think or say that because it is such a small car, you could drive it anywhere super far and the gas is untouched, and that's just not really true, because you're just burning so much fuel keeping the engine up at 5,000 if you take it on the highway per se. And that's just how combustion works, you know. The more RPMs, the more revolutions, explosions you have inside the engine, and well, it's gonna burn more fuel. For me, in the overall street comfortability, and by that I mean like the things it has AC, which is very nice touch. You sometimes don't want to roll the windows all the way down just because of how much wind is hitting your face, and when it gets really hot, the wind is also pretty hot, so you're not really cooling yourself down. So pulling up the windows, putting the AC on, great. The AC isn't like the strongest thing that's gonna blow you away, but for the size of the cabin, it cools it down pretty quickly, and it has what it needs to cool you down. I've gotten times where I turned it down because it gets a little cold in there, so it works perfectly fine. The soft top is probably one of the best things about the Beat, and another high reason why people buy the Beat. Just being able to drop the top at any time and doing that in the middle of traffic in 20 seconds is mainly what the experience of the Beat is. I feel like that's what the Beat was made for. And times like this, you know, like you're at the beach, you have the sun with a nice little breeze, and just dropping the top adds that extra little factor that you want. And it's just great. I feel like that's one of the best parts about it. The Cappuccino also drops the top, but it's a hard top, so you have to get out your car, take off the pieces, put them in your little bags, put all the bags in your trunk, and now you have no trunk space. So it's just, for me, the soft top personally is better. I know that the hard tops are a little more rare and they're expensive, but just being able to flip the little switches, dropping it down, that's one of the best features on this car, if I were to say so. Just to wrap the whole thing up, I think that I'll give it a score of, let's say, something about a 9 out of 10 if you're doing city drives and town commutes. If you're gonna go on the highway, maybe not the best option, just because you're stressing the motor out so much, and it wasn't meant for that. If you're gonna be on the city, short commutes, quick, it's fun, you could throw it around, super light, it sounds amazing, and it looks amazing in my opinion. So if you're gonna use it for that, I think it's a great consideration, and you should really think about getting this over a different K car or a different car in general, just because the maintenance and the actual, you know, expensiveness of it is really low. Now, if you're somebody that goes on the highway every day and likes to store a lot of things, likes to carry a lot of things with them, passengers, I don't think it's gonna work out the way you might believe or what you had in mind, but for that, it's really not meant for that. So overall, really love this car. I will continue to daily drive this, and it's really been a good experience and a good drive. I like the way that people turn over every time, the way that people look, try to ask me about it, how it just drags attention anywhere. You could be next to a really expensive Mercedes or maybe even a Lamborghini, but more often than not, more people are gonna look at this because of the quirkiness of it and just how rare and weird it looks. And that's what I go for. And it doesn't matter that I don't have a V8 or a V10. This for me is like what I need. It's just enough for it to be fun and low maintenance, inexpensive, and great little car. I'd like to thank DirtLegal for making pretty much all of this possible, so thank you so much. Being able to take me from no plates, no title, to plates, completely road legal. I had it in Montana, and because of them, I was able to actually bring it out on the road, drive it, and it's been great. My experience with them has been really smooth. It was pretty quick. I just gave them my documents and they took care of the rest. So for any of your needs for titling, registration, or anything like that, if you have an import, a motorcycle, if you have an ATV or a dirt bike that you want to road legal, put plates on it, they can handle it for you. And I was actually able to get a link. So in the description, if you go to them through that link, I actually get a percentage of it. So it helps me out It helps the channel out. And yeah, you know, you help me, I help you, they help you, you get your plates, we're all on the road. So again, thank you to DirtLegal, and I hope you enjoyed what is an overview of a daily drive beat in California. So thank you and have a great rest of your day.